Hello, and welcome to another episode of This is Rico trying to heal my inner child. I am Rico, and I'd like to remind everyone that I am not a doctor, I'm not a therapist, and I am not a medical professional in any way. Just a regular person trying to navigate through life and trying to navigate what's going on in here. It's a mess, but it's better. But it's still a mess. I'd like to get back to the topic of my home life, specifically after my surgeries, maybe during the surgeries where things just kind of started to fall apart. Um, I felt like I was made to feel like I was a burden, and it was just holding everybody back and keeping everybody down by recuperating and needing help. I was made to feel like I didn't deserve the help, like I didn't deserve any kind of treatment or anything. I was made to feel like a burden, and like I was just a waste of everyone's time and space. And during the 4 years of recuperation, 4 years where I sat on the couch, 4 years of physical therapy, 4 years of feeling worthless, 4 years of putting on weight because I couldn't be physically active. That was quite taxing on me. It really was. I was very strong, very active before, and then now I can't do any of it. Now I need a walker to get around directly after the surgeries. Physical therapy was just slow, and it did help, but it was still just slow going. And things just increasingly got worse at home. Increasingly. We couldn't have any cordial conversations anymore. Everything turned into a fight. Everything turned into an argument. Um, if I didn't go to bed when she went to bed, she would get mad. And if I went to bed later, if I woke her up, she would get mad. And then it would become an argument. She would take all her frustrations out on me. She would act like I was doing it on purpose. Now, again, I like to keep mentioning that I don't mean to imply that she was malicious and doing it on purpose to hurt me. But I am only commenting on how I perceived things, my perspective, how these situations made me feel at the time. And it just got worse and worse. It just seemed like we really couldn't stand being around each other. So I started sleeping on the couch. Now, sleeping on the couch after a back surgery was no fun. It did not help me out one bit. It just made it worse. It made me hurt more. And the more I hurt, the worse my mood was. And the worse my mood was, the more horrible our fights would be. And it would just cause more and more and more. She would pick a fight with me over things. Nothing I did was helping. Nothing I did was worthy. Everything I just felt like I was a burden. And that's the only way I can explain it. I felt like I was just bothering everyone. And all I had was pain. It was just physical and emotional pain, like constantly. And I had no one to talk to. Like I mentioned before, I couldn't talk to my parents because they didn't want to hear it. They only want to hear when things are good, and that's all they want to hear. And if things are bad, pretend that they're good for their sake. They didn't care about my feelings or how I was, dealing with things. They didn't care about that at all. They just wanted me to protect their feelings, make sure that they're not uncomfortable. So I just had to tell them everything's fine, even when they weren't, just so that they could feel better about themselves. I couldn't talk to anybody. I was completely alone again. And I'm not going to take anything away from my boys. They were boys, and they were always there for me when I needed them. But I still just felt alone. It's such a horrible feeling to be a child in a family of 7 and to feel completely alone, and then to grow up and start your own family and feel completely alone. It was exhausting. It was taxing. It was frustrating. It was discouraging. And pretend everything's okay. Just pretend. And I couldn't do it anymore. But I'm going to take a real quick break, and I'll be back with a little more of This is Rico trying to heal my inner child. Welcome back to This is Rico trying to heal my inner child. Getting back to the topic of my home life and my deteriorating relationship with my ex wife. Things just consistently got worse. Uh, I couldn't talk to anyone. Now, looking back, there were probably a few people that I could have talked to. Excuse me. But at the time, I just felt alone. And I think that feeling like a burden, I just felt like if I talked to anybody else, then I would have just felt like a more of a burden, just another person that's just gonna treat me like I don't deserve to, express my feelings. They all just wanted me, and my family, they just all wanted me to pretend it was okay. If you pretend it's okay, then we can pretend it's okay and we can tell everybody everything's okay. And that wasn't the case. But they didn't want to hear it, and acted as if I just was trying to get attention, which is kind of funny because I never really got attention unless it was negative, unless it was being disciplined or reprimanded for something. That was the only attention I got as a child. When I really, really needed support, I didn't get it. And then to pretend that I'm just doing this for attention. Yeah, I was doing it for attention. Maybe I needed some attention from you guys and you just wouldn't give it to me. It's not that they couldn't, they wouldn't. There's a difference. And makes me think of the song. Isn't it ironic, don't you think? I didn't get attention, and maybe now I needed some attention, and I still wasn't going to get it because they were going to pretend that I was just being facetious and being overdramatic, overly sensitive. I was told that so many times. Yes, I'm overly sensitive. That's who I am. And for you to pretend that that's a negative thing, that's on you. If you want to pretend that me feeling my feelings or expressing my feelings is overly sensitive, I'm not going to argue. I think you just didn't want to be called out on your BS. You didn't want me to say, you hurt me. You made me feel this way. You made me feel that way. And I would do that. And I would be treated like I was out of line, like I'm not allowed. I'm just supposed to take it, let them treat me like they were going to treat me. And I had no right to say anything about it. And that's how I was treated. And that's how I felt. And I needed the attention. I needed it, even if it was just an ear to listen. But nobody at the time wanted to listen. Whenever I would talk about anything, they wouldn't listen. They were just waiting for their turn to talk. I could always tell when I'm in the middle of saying what I'm saying, they're not really listening. They're in their head thinking of what they're going to say to me. They're thinking about what they're going to tell me to do. They're thinking about what they're going to tell me to think and how to feel and how it should be. Just waiting to tell me that I was in the wrong. And, that was extremely frustrating. Again, this just is a constant theme of needing someone and not getting it. And, looking back, I could have found other people, someone else, somewhere to talk to, but I didn't even really try because the people that are the closest to me are the ones that I should be able to trust and the ones I should be able to express myself to without any kind of judgment. And all I got was judgment. All I got was just complete judgment, and nobody wanted to hear any of it. And that was frustrating. It was extremely frustrating. And again, I'll say this, it was emotionally exhausting. I was discouraged and I was just crushed, and at the time I started thinking, what can I do? What can I do? And, some of my options that I thought were my options were not that good. They were not very positive. But I'll get into that a little more in the next segment of This is Rico trying to heal my inner child. Welcome back to This is Rico trying to heal my inner child. I am on the topic of my deteriorating home life, my deteriorating relationship with my ex wife, and how those closest to me made me feel. Um, I can't go back and change anything, and all I can do is talk about it and try to work through it. And I know it seems like I just complain, but I'm not. I'm just stating facts on how I felt on these things. Again, I don't even I'm not even trying to imply that they were doing this to hurt me on purpose. This is just their reactions, their actions, and how it hurt me and how it made me feel, how it influenced how I dealt with things outside of these relationships. But getting back to everyone treating me, or at least making me feel like I'm a burden, it was like no matter what I said or no matter what I did, it was all taken as me being difficult. If I got upset because somebody hurt me, I was being difficult. You know, they made me they made me question my own existence, if I even deserved to be here. And quite honestly, I wanted to end things. And quite honestly, I tried to end things a few times. I never followed through. I think I just got scared at the last second, but I tried, and I don't I don't wish this on anyone. I don't want anyone to get to this point ever, ever. And I didn't want to get to that point. But in my mind, it was telling me, yeah, maybe everyone's right. Maybe you don't deserve to be here. Maybe you don't deserve to exist. And I was going to fix it and I was going to take care of it. And I didn't. And, I'm still here. And I'm glad you're still here too. If anyone has had those thoughts, please get help. And I'm glad if anyone has tried this in the past, I'm glad that you didn't. And I'm glad you're still here because the world is a better place with you in it. That's a message that I need to listen to myself because I still question my own existence from time to time. But I deserve to be here just as much as anyone else, and so do you. But back then, I felt like nobody ever had anything nice to say. Nobody had anything encouraging to say. Nobody wanted to support anyone. My parents were just sarcastic a-holes who just wanted to make fun of everything. And, my mom would always say that, oh, he's just joking. But it's not funny if someone's hurt by the comments. It's not funny or fun if, say, I'm the butt of their jokes. They got a good laugh out of it, but I didn't. I felt small every time they did that to me, but they didn't want to understand. They didn't want to hear that. They just wanted to act like, oh, no, we're just kidding. We're just joking. But those words hurt. They hurt a lot. So, again, I start believing it. I start to feel, every time I started to feel good, somebody was there to take it away. Every time I started to feel a little self-esteem or maybe some confidence, it was taken away. Anytime I would say something good about myself, it was taken as arrogance. It was taken as conceitedness. And that was I was the only one that was giving myself these good compliments, and yet I was being judged and being told I was wrong for complimenting myself. I was arrogant. I was conceited and self-centered just for trying to feel good about myself. I wasn't ever saying that I was better than anybody else. I wasn't saying that I was superior at all. I was just having a moment of feeling good about who I was, and it was always taken away. It was always squashed. And I know now that I shouldn't listen to garbage like that, but at the time, it was all I heard. It was all I heard, and I started to believe it. So, I'm going to take another break, and I'll be back with a little more of This is Rico trying to heal my inner child. Welcome back to This is Rico trying to heal my inner child. I'd like to conclude this video and finish off my story of the crumbling and deteriorating home life I was experiencing at the time. My ex wife and I were just not getting along anymore at all. And after enduring abuse for so long, and looking back, I think those that did the abusing don't see it as an abuse. They just see it as normal behavior. The term I use a lot is the tree remembers what the axe forgets. They were the axes and they didn't. The axe is going to stay the same. The tree is going to be damaged and marked forever. But nobody considers that. Usually the axes don't consider that because they don't even think about it. They didn't think about it when they were doing it, and they don't think about it now. But it was time for me to move on. I couldn't take it anymore. I was thinking of hurting myself a lot, and it was either hurt myself or move on. And I did not want to hurt myself that way. I did not. So when I announced that I would be moving out, when I announced that I couldn't take it anymore and I was gonna find my own way, walk this earth alone, it was taken like it was a surprise. It was taken like I just brought it out of the blue. Like everything was fine, and then one day I just decided I was gonna leave. And that's what hurts more is that you know, all those years that I took all that garbage from everyone, they're surprised that I'm finally standing up for myself and taking a stand. It was a surprise. All of the church people, once I announced I was moving out and we were probably going to get a divorce, they all turned their backs on me. Every single one, even the ones that called themselves my friends, they all turned their back because of some sort of church doctrine that, you know, unless you're going to try to fix their marriage, you shouldn't talk to someone who's going through that. And that's what they did. They all just turned their backs. Uh, some of the leaders, some of the elders, they would call me and threaten church discipline, whatever that is. I don't know what that is, but they would threaten me with it. So I had to tell them, stop calling me. Do not contact me ever again. And I could have used a lot worse language with them, but I didn't. I told them nicely, leave me alone. Just leave me alone. If you're not going to help me, if you're not going to support me at least, then leave me alone. Because what they were doing was not helping. And I couldn't get help from anyone, so I had to do it alone. I had to beg for some money so I could just, some of the money that I had earned throughout all these years, now I had to beg for it just so I can get out and find somewhere to live. And I had to do it alone again. I had to do it all alone. There was so much that I had just gone through alone. So many times where I wish somebody was there to just lean on, someone to just walk with me. But nobody was willing to do it, and not at the time. So here I am doing it again. But I was determined. I was determined to go. I wasn't going to stay for the abuse any longer. I couldn't take anymore. So I started looking for a place. And at the time, I was working at the local coffee shop, and I had someone help me find a small place. But that is a story for my next episode, where I will touch down on life after separation, but before we got divorced. It was going to lead to divorce eventually, and this is the time before that. So I found a small place, and I will go into more details about that with the next video. So I just want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank you again from the heart of my bottom for support. I want to thank you for your likes and your comments and your shares. Please, and if you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe. Please. I appreciate all of you, and I think that as a community, we are very, very capable of taking care of each other and supporting each other. And that's all they really want. Just for us to support each other, to understand each other a little bit. If you don't have an experience that's similar, that's fine. But don't act like my experience is any less because it's not the same as yours. And I'm not talking to anybody in particular, but sometimes when someone doesn't have a similar experience in their past, they don't understand. And this has happened to me where somebody made me feel guilty for wanting to protect myself, wanting to, protect my emotions, protect my feelings. They wanted to make me feel guilty because they didn't know what it was like. They had no understanding and they didn't even try. And that's all I could ask for is at least people to try to understand each other, try to, you know, understand just a little bit, and just support each other. I just want us to support each other. That's all I want. That's all I wanted back then. It's painful enough when it was painful enough when it happened, and it's painful enough to deal with this again, but it is necessary for me to get it out. It's necessary for me to talk about these things and work through them. It's necessary. I have to do this. I was compelled, and here I am already at episode 51, still telling my story. And I'm going to continue to tell my story because it is what I need. So, with that, help each other out. Let's support each other. Let's lift each other up. Holding each other down is not the way to go through life. You don't get anywhere that way. Lifting each other up is the only way we're going to move forward and the only way we can survive as a society, really. So, with that, I thank you again from the heart of my bottom for all your support and for everything that you do and for you being here. Once again, I am glad you're still here. I'm glad you exist. The world is a better place with you in it. And I just want us all to get along and support each other and to take care of each other. So I'm going to conclude this video. I will be back very, very soon with another. And thanks again. And this has been another episode of This is Rico trying to heal my inner child. Thank you.